Good evening everyone. This is Manali Raj. Welcome to the CSA Relay News Bulletin presented by Chanakya IAS Academy Bihar region. In this segment, we demonstrate about the daily important highlights from the perspective of our civil services examination. Let us have a brief overview of today's headlines. Supreme Court seeks response from centre states on caste discrimination in prisons. Arbitrary court orders summoning government officials contrary to constitution. Supreme Court asked SEBI to probe if Hindenburg report violated law and caused harm to the investors. Free movement regime to end at Myanmar border. Ministry of Home Affairs seeks to pacify truckers protesting new hit-and-run law. Moving into the details of the news, the Supreme Court has said caste-based discrimination of prisoners, segregation of manual work among them according to caste hierarchy, and treatment of the inmates from the denotified tribes as habitual offenders within the four walls of the jails across India is a very important issue and needs to be addressed. Arbitrary court orders summoning government officials in judicial proceedings run contrary to the scheme envisaged by the Constitution. The Supreme Court held that and framed standard operating procedures on the issue. A bench comprising Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra said that the standard operating procedures for the courts emphasized that they needed to steer away from the arbitrary summoning of the government officials. The Supreme Court directed the SEBI to invoke its powers of investigation and probe if the Hindenburg report on the short selling amounted to a violation of law causing harm to the investors. A three-judge bench headed by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud dismissed the findings of NGO Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project about alleged stock manipulation and accounting fraud against the Adani Group. The union government is all set to scrap the free movement regime along the Myanmar border. People living in border areas who could cross over to India will soon require visas. India and Myanmar share an unfenced border and citizens on either side have familiar and ethnic ties, which prompted the 1970s arrangement, last revised in 2016. Around 300 kilometers of the border will be fenced and a tender will be issued in the next few days. A survey of the border areas with the help of drones has been completed recently. As transporters across the country struck work to protest the increase in punishment in hit-and-run cases in the yet-to-be-implemented Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, the Union Ministry of Home Affairs convened a meeting with the All India Motor Transport Congress. Transporters including bus and taxi unions have called a nationwide strike from January 1 to January 30 to protest Section 106 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, which prescribes a maximum punishment of 10 years in cases of rash and negligent driving. One-liners for the day. Jammu and Kashmir has become the first union territory to implement the PM Vishwakarma Yojana, an initiative that aims to empower and enhance the skills of the craftsman community. The inauguration of the training program for the first batch of the 30 trainees, that is the Vishwakarmas in Darji craft, was virtually conducted. The commercial arm of ISRO, New Space India Limited, will launch GSAT-20, renamed as GSAT-N2, onboard SpaceX's Falcon 9 during the second quarter of 2024. The GSAT-20 is a high-throughput Ka-band satellite which will be fully owned, operated and funded by NSIL. That was all for today. Stay tuned to our channel for standardizing your civil services preparations. Thank you.